some stuff.
Should I do like the Barefoot Contessa high collar that in the late 90s fat ladies did?
Yeah, why not? Why the heck not?
There you go. No thanks. 705.
You just love giving all the secrets away.
What? Am I giving secrets away? Are we showing?
You just gave the time.
What? What's that?
Just told them the time. We started 5 minutes late, everybody.
Oh, hi, everybody. Hi, everybody. Wait, I'm going to be looking there.
Yes.
The cameras are in very new places today. So we have one there, and we have one there. And I will awkwardly not look at both. However, hi, everybody. Welcome to Land of Make Believe. We are having another live, and I think this has been over a year now. I think this is like number 12, or I don't even know, but I haven't kept track because I'm trying not to hyper focus on how many I've done and how many I haven't done. But it's been about a year, I think. Welcome, everybody. We are going to be doing stuff for 4th of July here in America, celebrating our independence, hopefully celebrating more than just our old independence, but our new independence and all of our freedoms, and that is why...
Our new dependence?
Our new dependence.
Gross.
Yeah. New dependence. I'm going to have a margarita because that is what time of year it is. It is hot outside. It has just started getting hot outside. Right next to the microphone with my...
Reminds me, we ought to do this at a podcast, because between that and me like cracking open a cold one in the corner.
Okay, this is a very strong margarita, but I'm going to put it in this glass, and I forget how many percentages.
Serving sizes?
26% alcohol. Not messing around. And I haven't undereaten today, so by the end of this show, I could be a little loopy, but that's okay.
Yay!
It's not the first time.
Loopy Crafting Live!
Loopy Crafting Live!
So, it's not just 4th of July, but it's also Americana, too.
This is just paper craft, because I love paper craft.
How dare you just...
This is just paper craft.
Paper
it happens to be red, white, and blue this month, but it is just paper craft, and we love paper. I love paper. This paper is not all about craft channel. This one drink. This channel is not all about paper craft. However, it has leaned heavily on paper craft because I'm obsessed. If you do not know, because you're new to the channel, I have ADHD and I get hyper-focused on stuff. So the last 12 months has been me hyper-focusing on paper craft. So what you may see here and behind me are paper streamers, because I've decided I wanted to do some what do I want? I don't want to say existential. I want to say, I have a hard time with words. I want to say...
Sounds like first word. Movie. Film.
No, just...
No Country for Old Men.
I want it to be loosely based on structure. However, other ways that you might say that. So I wanted to have something that was easy, fun, flowy. I wanted movement with the air. I wanted it to interact with the air as though a flag may or might, and yet not be a flag. I have one of those. This is not one of those. I'm not going to make a flag. That's not fun for me.
Well, we went to Disneyland for the Disneyland 70th a couple weeks ago, and they have some fun swags like this too.
I love me some old-fashioned 1800s to early 1900s paper swags. I have not perfected the craft yet. However, I am obsessed and I have many, many, many reference points for it. And I just kind of wanted to do my own version of it. So I came up with this swag, which has a giant. I'm not going to take it off of the wall here because I actually glued it, but the board that it's on actually comes all the way down to here. Boom. It's that long. There's a lot of paper. And then I realized that's not necessary. I can make something almost just as big and grand as that on a very small piece of paper. So I'm going to turn around, I'm going to pick this up, and then I'm going to come back, and then you're going to see me back. Oh, look at me, I'm back.
Oh, you're back in your front.
I'm back. This is on a piece of cardboard this big as opposed to this big. It's like right here. So you don't need a giant foam core thing. So I will show you how I made this at the end of tonight, the end of the hour, but I'm going to show you some smaller crafts as well. These could go very well on a handle of a stairway, outside your windows, inside your windows, above your doorway.
In lieu of a window, you know?
I wouldn't put it in place of a window.
If you don't have a window, you want to pretend you have a window. And you put that over a false window.
Pretend you have a window. Why am I thinking innuendo? That's not.
That is my job,
That's
yo.
his joke. So I will show you how I did this. Get back up there. But first I'm going to show. I moved the thing. I hit the thing. I hit the thing.
Hit all the things. Select all things. Mika hit.
It's not my job. I'm doing it more. It's not my job to put them there, but it is my job to pay attention, and I tend not to do that.
That's okay. It just looks like this now. So you guys can enjoy.
So that's where we're at. So let's just start with something. Hi, everybody. Welcome. We're going to start with some very simple things. I have two little sticks here with little papers glued onto them. And they're for two different decorations. One would be, I'm thinking, for decorating your food, like your watermelons, if you have a buffet and you want some little decorations on the buffet, or you want some little things that people can have, put them at people's place settings, that kind of thing. I also have an idea for this little square one for some little toys. So we're gonna start with the first one, which I have a we're gonna get some help here. I have a thought of things and I have planned things, and I am gonna make some things that I planned out ahead of time.
Reality things comes in too. So like.
But I've also decided to just do a couple of crafts that I've never done before, which is awkward for me. However, I think it kind of, why not? Let's just do it. Last minute kind of stuff. Just because the idea of having to be perfect is out the door for me. I'm done with having to be perfect. Because
success, you already did it. Check.
Hey, I don't know how I feel about that. The reason is because lately I have been so preoccupied that I have not really, with just life, things happen, and you're like, I still want to celebrate with my friends, so let's just come up with something really fast. So these are some ideas that I specifically did not practice beforehand, although I did look at them many days ago.
What is that? What are you doing?
I am just trimming this to be a more round circle because nervousness and moving things. Okay, so what I have done here, I will show you what I did. I took two little pieces of cardstock. These do not have to be precise. You just kind of make a circle the size you kind of want to. And I was looking at this cap earlier, so I made my circles about the size of a cap. Put it down, traced one, and then cut it out, and then put a piece of paper next to it and cut out the next one. Not precise, okay? I did glue a few ahead of time because you will want to let these dry before you start adding other papers onto them. But what I have here are just some skewers, and I have some paper here, the paper circles, and a little bit of glue, actually a lot of glue. But anyway, a little, you don't have to use a paintbrush. I like to use a paintbrush.
What could you use in lieu of a paintbrush?
The glue bottle with a little tip on the bottle, and you just put it on there, and then you smear it around your finger.
Mika's tip.
You can use your tip of your finger. That is the tip for today. But here's what I will do. I'm going to put a little bit of glue. The more glue you put on, I'm using wood glue. Hi there again. I'm using wood glue. Wood glue for me, for working with paper.
Wood glue for you?
Wood glue for you works better. And I rationalize it like this. Paper. What? What is happening?
You are over the shoulder right now.
I'm over the shoulder. Hey. Wood glue is for paper. Paper is often made out of wood pulp. So that's my rationale. It tends to just seize up and dry more strongly than regular Elmer's white glue or any other school glue, white glue. So if you have wood glue, I suggest you use it. If not, it's probably going to be fine. I'm looking for this. Okay, I have taken these two little circles and I have put some glue there, and then I'm going to put my little stick in the middle so that it's not outside. And then I'm just going to put that right on top. And I'm going to take some sort of a utensil. I'm using the side of my ruler. You could use the side of a knife or a pair of scissors. Just kind of really rub next to the skewer so that the glue adheres to the skewer and the paper wraps around the skewer. So, and then set it aside and let it dry for 5 to 10 minutes. It doesn't have to dry for a long time. Then what we're going to do is take this, and we're going to take these little papers that I made. This is from a Pinterest page called momsandcrafters.com. It's from that page. And this is by a lady named Manucha. And she's a mother of 4. And she made this little craft. And I thought it was just super cute and very sweet and easy for little children to do. Maybe not little children. I'm thinking probably 6 or 7 years old. So this is something you could do with your kids. You could have them make this while you're busy doing other stuff. This is one of those. Or if they're really little and they're not used to crafting, you could help them with this. But this is simple. So what I have here are 8 red cones and 8 white cones. What I did was I very ill-advisedly chose tissue paper. I would use craft paper. This was a little difficult. However, it is doable. Which do we have here? The over the shoulder?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to show here. So what I figured out to do to make this very easy, the easiest it could be with tissue paper, you've got squares. The squares do not have to be exact, but these are fairly close to 3 by 3. But these are 2 3/4 by 3, but it doesn't have to be exact. We're going to take it and put a point facing our tummy and a point facing to the left and to the right, up, down. And we're going to take a little bit of glue and run it right along the top edge, farthest away from us to the left. If you're right-handed, or if you're left-handed, do it on the other side. Try a few of them. They will be awkward, but this is how I figured out how to do it easiest for myself. Then you're going to pick up the little triangle, the point towards you, and put your little finger on the point and just roll it towards the glue. Just like that. And like I said, tissue paper is not my friend here. However, by doing that, you just get a little cone.
Little gnome hat.
A little gnomey hat. Or a little nose.
Gnome nose?
Gnome nose? Oh my gosh, if I had a little bit of, what is the stuff we used to put on our noses in theater? Gum. Say it for me. Don't look at me like I should know.
Little liquid latex.
Liquid latex or sweat. Okay. So that's how easy it is to make these little cones. And then what you're going to do is take a little bit of glue. And I've done that with 8 of one color and 8 of another color. And you're going to alternate these colors. They do not have to be perfect. When, I'm going to have to look at her name again. When Manucha did it, they were perfect. And they were beautiful. But let's be serious. When you have kids doing stuff, it's not going to be perfect, nor should it be. We need to let them practice and make a mess. And I realize that far too many of us are trying to get our kids to be perfect or ourselves to be perfect. Let's just play. This is for play. So what I'm going to do is put some glue on the circle. These do not have to be perfect little cones. I'm going to put some glue right there. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to separate all my cones so that I can get to them easily. I'm supposed to have 8. Maybe I glued them together when I stacked them. Oh, did I do that? Did I do that? Oh, God. So aging myself. But I think I did. Okay, I may have made a huge mistake.
Urkeled it, babe.
I totally urkeled it. Oh, I urkeled it. Come on. Nope. Okay. Well, we're just going to work with this. So what we do is we're going to alternate all the white and the red. And I'm putting the tips of this as close to the center as looks practical. It does not have to be exactly in the center because I'm going to have, I separated that one. Okay. But we're just gonna, so I put one top, one bottom, one on either side. So on the 4 corners, and then I'm going to split the difference. I'm going to have to make another cone because one of these stuck together.
It's like a little pinwheel.
So I'm going to take a little bit of white paper here. And I'm going to do what I showed you a second ago and put a little bit of glue on that side. Lift this up, hold the little point, and put it down like that. And the way I'm actually orienting these is so that which one am I at? Over here?
Other one.
So that the point is farthest, is the top point, and the lower point is inside. And I'm going to use that as my, so that they open, so that the little points head out like that. Does that make sense? Did that make sense?
Yeah.
Then we're going to, sure, why not? We're going to say it does. If you have questions, ask them later, and I will address them. I'm going to put a little more glue on right around the top of that. And then I'm going to take these red ones that I have made exactly the same way and put them around this way. Look how quickly it comes together. And yes, this is sort of sloppy. However, do we really care? Does it have to be perfect? No. If you want to make it perfect, can you? Yes. Go for it. I'm trying to do all this in 1 hour, and I'm already behind. So here we go. So reds and whites and blues. These are the colors that I choose. Okay, and then I'm going to take another round circle and I'm going to put it right on top because that will help stabilize these. You can see as I'm holding it up that they are kind of flowy, which is fine. If you didn't want it to be this flowy, I'm thinking that a larger circle could be better. Let's just do it. Let's do it. Let's improvise while we're working. I'm going to put a little more glue. And I'm going to put this on the back. Actually, do I want it on the back? I want it on this side because I actually don't care for because I was sloppy when I made these. This side.
On the red, or?
Well, the way that because they're tissue paper and not crepe craft paper, they were put together a little wonky. I'm not gonna lie, but this.
Who amongst us hasn't been?
Who amongst us have not been a little wonky? Then we're going to take this little spiral and let me show you how I made this little spiral because I could not use crepe paper for this piece, so I took a piece, and I didn't have blue craft paper, so I took some craft paper, or what do you call it? Yeah, craft paper, and I put a little bit of glue on it. I do have blue crepe paper, so I am just going to put the blue paper right on top of that craft paper, and then I'm gonna cut it out. And then to make a little rosette, first cut off the outside edge here. And then we're going to go ahead and cut a spiral, which is super easy. Just start, and we're going to go around about 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Is there a trick to keeping the scissors stable and then you move the thing around it?
Good question. Yes, I'm holding my scissors and I'm moving the paper. This is why I have an assistant, also my husband, who is adorable. So I have blue paper on both sides. I have cut this by holding the scissors in one place and turning the paper. And then I'm going to keep the bottom, it's got a cone shape. We're going to keep the bottom of the cone there. And we're just going to start to, we're going to put the cone up at the top. No, cone at the back. We're just going to start to roll this like that so it makes a little rosette. And I'm going to take a tiny little piece of wet glue. That's not how we use that word. A bit of glue.
You're like Shakespeare. You just did it, babe.
And glue it at the bottom, just like that. I have this one, which actually looks better, so I'm going to go ahead and use it here. I'm going to put a little bit of glue right on the center bit. And I need a little bit more glue. What you want to do is tack down the end here so that it does not unravel. And then the center little dot that you had is going to be the part that goes right down onto the flat paper. And then you've got these cute little decorations, just like that. So this is one decoration. The next one I'm going to do is for baby Mika.
Baby Mika!
Baby Mika loves a streamer. Baby Mika loves a streamer. Little girl Mika loves a streamer. Now, I don't know about you, but when the parents say you're too young for fireworks and you can't have a sparkler and that makes you upset, then what do you get? You get streamers. Which is, I made streamers for myself out of newspaper, and they were not very great. I didn't. But you know, you do what you got to do.
Parents
So I
can't
have-
buy you fireworks, so you made streamers.
No, they had fireworks. I wasn't. There was a certain point in my life where I wasn't allowed.
Rightfully.
I wasn't allowed to touch the fireworks because they couldn't trust me. I trusted me. Plenty of people trusted me. Just my parents didn't. So we made streamers. I made streamers. They were not this cool. But so
Crafter's
what I have
revenge.
here, Crafter's revenge. What I have here is a skewer. And then I have a little piece of rectangle paper. Please make it cardstock because you want it to be firm like the paper, like the stick. And then you're going to do the same thing you did with the other one, the other little circle. You're going to put the glue on. You're going to put your little stick there, and then you're going to fold it over. And then you're going to use something to...
What is it? What?
I'm going to use the ruler again.
What?
Because it is very effective. So, not very much glue, but what you definitely want to do is push down on either side of the stick. And again, let it wait for 5 to 10 minutes. Then, once you have waited for 5 to 10 minutes and this paper is not going anywhere, you're going to take a little bit of glue, put it on one side. You're going to do one side, then you're going to do the other. Not like I did, ooh, I touched the mic. Not like I did before you guys got here where I put glue on this side and then I just turned it right over and glue on the other side. That's not what you're supposed to do. But you're just going to take strips of paper. They do not have to be crepe paper. They can be newspaper, like we said. They can be any kind of paper. But I'm using the crepe paper because it is long and twirly and I love it. So what I'm doing here is actually twisting a bit of it and putting it on. And I'm going to put as many of these on as I can fit comfortably. I've got, I would say don't make the, oops, that's not that paper. Where's the other paper? I have to cut more white. Okay. Oh my gosh, we're at 7:30 already. Ah! Okay, cut some thin strips. These are about a 1/2 inch wide. But if you want to make larger ones, go for it. I would say a yard is the longest I would go. Because they're going to end up getting trapped, stuck on things.
How do you know that's a yard?
I know that's a yard because I'm 5'2", and this is not a yard. I'm 5'2", which means from this finger to this finger is about 5'2", which means here to here is 2.5 feet, and 2.5 feet plus 1 inch, so 2 feet 7 inches. Which is not quite a yard.
Not quite so, like, to
but,
nose and a shoulder.
Plus some
Plus
hanging
some.
down.
Yeah.
That's a seamstress's tip. I'm not a seamstress, but I know some very good ones. Okay, I'm just gonna put a bunch of these little thingies down here. I'm twisting the end like I did a second ago. If you don't want to do that, you can just lay them down flat. That is also fine. But use enough glue. Just like that. I'm going to put this final piece over it to cover these other pieces. And then I'm going to turn it over and do some more on the other side. Glue, glue, glue. I might not even get to show you these because I was just so excited about making streamers. I was excited about making streamers. And red, white, and blue for me is pink, white, and pastel blue.
Mm-hmm.
And so I love all the variations of red, white, and blue. I like pastels.
Happy 4th of Trans to you.
What?
Happy 4th of Trans.
Happy 4th of Trans! Woo, woo, woo! We love our trans friends and family members and friends of family members and friends of friends. And anyway, yes. I don't know how to not be awkward, but you know that. If you've been here for a year, you know I don't know how not to be awkward.
At least you're consistent.
I am definitely consistent. Okay, we're gonna put. I keep grabbing that piece. Let's see. Make sure that you're not trying to cut more paper than your scissors can handle.
How do you know how much paper your scissors can handle?
You start cutting, and then if it's too much, you back off, and then cut
will
less.
Will it start to slip out from the sides, or will it start to not cut, or will it start
It will be hard to cut, and it will slip out the sides. I'm guessing. Thank you for that. I'm using a little bit of spit from my mouth because...
How do you get spit from your...
You like that. I have not had nearly enough of this drink for me to be using that as an excuse.
But you had another drink before that drink.
Shh, don't. I did. I had pina colada before this drink.
But what happened to that pina colada?
Well, when you put your pina colada in the same glass yogurt jar as your glue, you may end up putting your glue brush in your pina colada, which is what I did. So I stopped drinking that drink. So anyway, so what I'm going to say is, thanks for that.
What? I love you.
What? Okay, I love you too. So now that you've got these little tendrils in there, take your final piece and make it kind of the same width as the whole piece of paper, and then cover it up with that. Now, once this dries, oh my God, I love it. I love it so much. So the little kids can run around and be as gay and flamboyant as they want to be on their 4th of July.
Sounds terrific, yes.
I love it. So, streamers, you do not have to have horrible for the environment,
but
fireworks.
So fun.
I love them
so fun.
in theory, but I have developed a disdain for fireworks because where I live, the 3 days after 4th of July
and
is...
3 weeks before?
Ugh. Actually, you know what? I'm really surprised. We have not heard a lot of fireworks this year before.
Jinxed it.
That's okay. Anyway, I'm trying to spread the word of fewer fireworks. Not no fireworks. I don't want no fireworks. I definitely want fewer fireworks. So ways to celebrate. This is what we have. We have this and this and this. There are a lot of things you can do with paper. There are pinwheels. I was going to do pinwheels tonight, but I couldn't get a hold of the little things that allow the pinwheel to spin. So we don't have those. But let's do this other larger door swag now, since I have, 20 minutes.
So much time.
So much time. So, like I said, this is a giant swag. We're going to make a smaller swag. And to do that, we're going to take this piece of paper, cardstock. This is slightly thicker than a cereal box, but you could use a cereal box. I just happen to have this cardboard around because I'm saving a lot of paper scraps before they go into the trash. This is 12 inches by 5 inches, 5.5 inches. So ish, 12 by 5. And what we're going to do is I used all of my paper swags to make my little streamer, but crepe paper strips. We're just going to do crepe paper strips, red, white, and blue, or like I said, whatever color you want. You want these to be the length you want your swag to be. So, oh my gosh, this one next to me here is 1, 2, 3, and down to the very bottom, 4 feet long. This other swag is, let's see,
oh my God, girl,
2 feet-ish long. I happen to really like these to be very ragged on the bottom. But
Just
you
like
can
your
be.
man.
Oh, how? Whoa. Sorry, please don't be. I don't even know how to respond to that. Wash your bottom. That's not what you meant, but that's what I got out of it. I don't want to rag it on the bottom, dude. What is this? The Old West? No. So you're gonna take. What? I hit it again? I can't stop myself. Okay, so what we're gonna do is take our paper for this smallish size, 12 by 5. I like to have my pieces about an inch wide. But an inch and a half wide doesn't seem to be a problem because these are about an inch to an inch and a half wide. I'm going to go ahead and cut a bunch of these so I don't have to stop in the middle and cut more. And they do not have to be a precise. You see how I'm cutting these. These are not a precision cut. Nor do you have to have really fancy crepe paper. You can get the cheapest crepe paper. You can get streamers. Crepe paper streamers, very inexpensive. I happen to have a bunch of crepe paper that I got for a super discount price. So I'm kind of using it like streamers. But it's also not the best quality. I'm not using my finest quality crepe paper for this. That's all I'm going to say. Save your fine quality crepe paper for your flowers and your other crafts.
Girl, you got that fine quality crepe paper going.
Fine quality paper, girl. But I'm not using it for this. So I'm cutting up a bunch of red, pink, aubergine, white, cream, bisque, and blue, turquoise, and even purples. That's what I'm choosing. And I will show you here how to do this. So now that I have a bunch of this, I'm just going to go to the red, white, and blue. If you want to make it nice and flat, if you lay the glue and the paper in one direction, it will be very flat. If you do what I'm going to show you, it will be nice and full and voluminous like this. And the trick is glue it away from yourself. And then once it's all done, it flips down so that you get this nice little loopy effect. You are going to start at the top and work your way down. I'm going to take glue and put it all along the top. And I will say, don't just work in colored sections. Work all the colors that you're going to use all along the top. And then just work your way down so that you don't, it kind of gets staggered and weird if you do single colors at a time all the way down. So what we're going to do is stretch out the part that you're going to put onto the paper, onto the baseboard, stretch it out a little bit so that it glues better, and let it overlap just a little bit off the card. Okay, so that way you're not seeing the card stock behind it as it lays down.
So it folds over the card when it lays down.
Yeah, so it folds over, so it hangs over the edge. These do not have to be all the same width. They don't have to be all the same up and down at the same level. Just kind of stagger them. And then I will say this, put the longest pieces at the bottom and the shortest pieces at the top. That way you do get a tiered effect. Otherwise, and on this one, I could show you, I put a lot of the shorter ones at the top and the, longer ones at the top and shorter ones at the bottom, and they just are lost in here. So when I redid this other one, I figured that out. So put your shorter pieces on top and your longer pieces on the bottom. And if you happen to make a quote unquote mistake and put long ones at the top, you can cut those off and add more paper at the bottom. That's That's a doable thing. So we're going to do red, then we're going to do white. Again, I'm going to stretch this out and put it down. The reason I'm stretching it out is because when the crepe is really tight, you're not getting as much contact with the glue, but if you stretch it out just a little bit at the base, you're getting more contact. And that's all the reason for that. Oh, wait, there's another one. Not in my drink.
Aww.
Oh, they just dried. So a lot of these papers I dyed by hand. One of my favorite parts of making things with crepe paper is hand dyeing the paper. It is so, I'll just, even if I don't have a craft in mind, I enjoy hand dyeing papers and just then coming up with designs to use that paper for. So I can recommend that to you as well. Whatever sparks your curiosity. Don't worry about doing something that doesn't quote unquote have a reason. Just save the pieces that you work with and you'll think about what you want to do with those when you're done. So here we go.
Within 2 to 3 decades, you'll find some use
You'll
for
find
them.
some use. Okay, this is very privileged of me to say that because I have the space to store this stuff now, which I definitely did not before. So keep your situation in mind. And if you want more crafting space to store your crafts, then that's a nice goal to have and work towards. You're like, why do I want a bigger house? More crafts. So here's what we have here. I have gone all the way across. And when you flip it down, there's, ooh, I did not get enough glue at the very top here. So I will, as you work down on this, it does not matter quite as much because the top ones will be covering it. But at the very top, you definitely want the edge to be all the way up to the top of this. I'm going to go ahead and keep going down with that. And since we're low on time, I'm going to show you how I made the top piece here. And I'm going to eat some gummy bears while I do that because I happen to have them on my table. Okay.
Like you do.
Like you do. Did you have gummy bears where you sit?
Take 2 to 4
These are
gummy
left
bears.
over from Halloween. And they're shaped like little bats. And they're super sour. And I didn't even chew them, even though they're gummy bears, because I realized that was not a smart move. You're going to take a pen. I don't know where my pen is, so I have a little water paintbrush here. This is the same size as the one I just did. So it's the 12 inches, so it's the same width. And I'm just going to draw an arch. And the only reason I'm doing this is because I don't feel like I can eyeball it. I like a little bit of preparation. So you're going to cut an arch from corner to corner so that it actually matches up with the size of your bottom swag. I want to do a lot more like this with the arches. This is the very basic version of the paper swag arches from the old-fashioned style. And yes, this is a down and dirty, not very precise version of it, but it works. So what we're going to do, decide what color you want on the outside and what color you want on the inside. I went with blue, white, and red. So I'm going to copy that. And I have this white, blue. I want to make sure it is long enough to have a nice arch and a little bit of pleating the whole way around. So this particular piece, like I said, was 12 by 5. And what I have here is unstretched. is 2 feet and some inches. I'm going to take the glue and just put it at the outside edge. I'm rushing. You do not have to rush unless you have to rush. Try to do this when you don't have to rush. I'm going to put this glue all around the outside edge, a nice wide swath, because you want to have enough area for the paper to adhere. You're going to find your center, and then you're going to put that down on your center. And then you're going to start to gently pleat. You're going to take a little, gently pleat it, but basically lay it out first before you start pleating. Lay it so that the base of the paper is horizontal and even with the bottom. And then turn it, just leave it there actually. We're going to turn that over in a minute. Then you're going to gently kind of evenly gather it.
There's a special way to do that, or you're just...
I'm just kind of, one of the things that I learned a long time ago is if you're doing things at the same time, for a lot of people, this might not be true for you. So please don't think there's something wrong with you if you don't do this. Measure it out if you need to. But if you're doing things at the same time with 2 hands, they tend to do the same thing. So just move along at the same pace and press it down from out to in with the same sides. Otherwise, you can put it down, find the middle again, push that down, and then just do it in like half everything. And that's a pretty consistent way to get a consistent pleat across. Does it have to be exactly consistent? No,
Yes.
It does not.
Oh, no.
Because what you'll see here is this is not consistent, nor was the one behind me, but you get the effect. I am leaving a little bit on the bottom so that I can fold it over the edge, just like that. And then we're going to go ahead, and while I had it turned over, pressing it down, I made sure the paper was covering all of the glue. Now we're going to do white. And I want a wide enough piece. I do like to make sure that these pieces that you're using are all approximately, it's easier this way. It doesn't have to be this way, but you're going to have to do more measuring and finessing. So if they're approximately the same width, it's easier to do this. Then you just glue down 1/3 of the way. You're going to take more glue and glue the next third. And I do like to glue on top of the last piece of paper because you want it to stick to that as well. It is so much easier with a paintbrush than it is with just the bottle. When I was a kid, I definitely would have done this with just my fingers. But now I have artificial fingernails on, and that's a disaster. So here we go, just some glue. And then I think this might be too much, but I'm going to make it extra ruffly. So I'm going to take this again from the middle. This is going to have a bit of an issue when I go to put it down because there will be a lot of folds that don't have a place to stick down. So I'll show you how we deal with that. Kind of like we deal with these. Take that centerpiece, put it down on top of the center. Nope, that is the end. Centerpiece. And put it down in the center like that. We're going to take these ends and bring them around.
That's a lot.
That is a lot, but I'm okay with that.
Damn.
Dang, Gina.
Bitch pleats.
Bitch please. I'm going to put that one there and that one there. And then we're going to do what I told you earlier, which is sort of the middle of that and the middle of that. And then just scrunch it.
Scrunchitize me, Captain.
What?
What?
Captain Scrunch? Oh, Captain Scrunch. Who didn't love a bit of Captain Scrunch on a Saturday morning?
Mm-hmm.
This was too big. So let me show you what happens. So I'm not afraid of a mistake.
You married one. What?
I did not. I love you. The
You're my
least
greatest
mistakey person
mistake.
I've kind of ever known. So if you have too much paper, what you're going to end up needing to do is take your glue and come back in and fill in all the little spots so that it's sticking to itself, okay? You're going to kind of fold that over. If you need to put some inside, do that. Stop it, Ryan. And here we go, like that. And this is definitely going to take longer to dry with all the extra glue, but that's okay. Now, what I will show you here and what I'd like you to notice is that even though I used all this extra paper to get extra pleats, it doesn't look better. No one's, honestly, it doesn't. No one's going to notice if you waste paper. You don't have to use as much paper as you might think you need to. Okay?
You don't have to make like the zoot suit of Americana.
It doesn't have to have all the fabric, all the paper. Although a zoot suit, super fun. If you're into that. If you're into zoot suits, I mean, I suppose they're cool.
It's a different kind of swag.
Oh my God, we used to go swing dancing when we first met Rhiney. You never did have a zoot suit, except when you went to my brother's wedding.
And for my prom.
And your prom. Oh, that's right, that prom. That was very zoot suity. But I was super jealous, so I tried to black that out. I didn't know Ryan, but I saw the pictures and I was still jealous.
It was so shitty, we called it the BM. The
What?
before Mika.
Don't use mine. Don't do that. That was horrible. Oh, okay. Now we're just going to move right along. BM, before Mika. I don't like that. So then, for the final piece, here's how you make the final piece work. There is a trick to getting this all to work together so that you make sure you close all the distance. You take your piece. This one is only as long as the whole thing. It does not need to be bigger than that. So this is 12 inches wide. And you're going to take it and you're going to put these two pieces together so that the ends meet right in the center.
A little bit over the edge like the others.
It's not big enough. Okay.
That's what she said.
I had bigger pieces. Okay. So this is a bigger piece. And what we're going to do, because it does not meet in the center, actually, I think I can still use this piece. Because it does not meet in the center, that is where we're going to have our arch over here. So if you have a wide enough piece, if this were wider, it would cover this, but definitely you want to cover the pieces on the outside. And then you're going to arch again, just like that, sort of nishi-mashi the crepey paper. But you want these always to be parallel with the bottom. Then I'm going to turn, wait. Then we're going to get a piece of whatever kind of paper you want to use to finish it. I'm going to use some metallic paper.
Ooh.
And I have this arch that I know needs to be approximately this big. You can measure it. I am eyeballing it. And I'm going to cut an arch. This is how big the arch is. I have a thing here that's about the right size, so I know I can use this.
Like, yeah,
Where's
could you
my
just have like a
pen?
big circle and sort of like fold some of
Yeah,
it over
you just
it?
want to make sure the circle is big enough to cut that. Actually don't think I need this, but if you do need a template, just use a circle that's approximately the size. Make sure it covers that. If you have a jar lid or a jar or a glass, you're just going to cut an arch or a half circle, depending on how much space you need. And I'm going to use that. And put some glue on the back of your paper. Just like that. And put it right on top. And I'm putting this exactly flush with the bottom. And I'm pressing that down. And then I'm going to turn this over and glue these pieces back. So they fold over and make a finished piece. The outside in. Like that, like so. Like so, like that. Okay, so there we go. And then I'm going to attach this to, you do not have to finish this before you attach the top, because I'm going to prove it to you. But what you will want to do is take the top part, make sure you've got it flipped the right direction, and then you're going to just overlap ever so slightly this bit. But you're also going to need a brace. So I'm going to put this, center it, and press it down. You will need some pressure for this. And then you will need another piece of paper. Cardstock is fine. It doesn't have to be more than that, but you are going to want to brace this because the way I've designed this, it needs a brace. If you want to make a larger arch that comes all the way down, that's fine, but this seems to be easiest for me. So I want to
staple it.
I wouldn't staple it. I think the staples are going to show. If you can figure out a way to staple it, go for it. I'm trying to use paper and glue. That's my jam. I try to use as much paper and glue as possible.
In life and in crafts?
In life and in crafts. I love glue. I love paper. They're biodegradable. They could get thrown away. So I'm going to actually, instead of gluing this part, I'm going to put glue on the paper, on the square piece that's the brace, rather. Do that. I'm going to do a crissy-cross to get some bracing.
They're the biodegradist.
And spread it around. If you have lots of big gloopy bits of glue, it's just going to take a little longer to dry, but it's okay. Then I'm just going to turn this over and put it here. Then the last thing I did was to take some more scraps of paper.
Yay, more paper, more glue.
Yay, more paper, more glue. I have 2 pieces of paper. And I'm going to glue them. I'm going to put glue on them. And then I made a hook. I made a hanger. I made a hanger out of wire because wire is handy.
Oh.
So I'm just going to take this here. Getting glue all over stuff. And I will say that when I did this, I realized that it's handy to make a little handy. It's more structurally sound if you take your wire and you bend a little bit up like that. And then when you put your paper hangers on, you kind of go so that when it dries, this little hook is on the paper. So there you go. Not a lot of precision, a lot of really messy stuff. Hopefully you can see, I do like pressing down with something hard like a piece of wood or a ruler, which is made out of wood. But something like this so you can really press down hard. If you have young fingers, maybe that doesn't matter. But these hooks here will help make it very stable. I'm going to show you on this one. I just used some pieces of crepe paper.
Yeah, it attacked you back.
It did. It was pissed at me.
There's only so many.
So here's the thing. You can use whatever paper you have, but that little turned bit will help it really hold on to it. So that is how that goes. And even, holy fuck. Oh, sorry.
What, it's the internet. You can say what you
I
want.
can say what I want, but what if there's children? There should not be children watching. But if there are.
You learned a new word. Yay.
Yay! So that is how that works. And then just a little hanger and they hang just fine. That's how that works. Big loud sound. 6 minutes after. I'm only a little bit over. And I deserve a drink because I haven't had very much.
Yay!
Thank you for being with me during this whirlwind crafting session for our American 4th of July, which is every American's and everybody who lives here. This is our holiday. Without getting political, there's my political stance. Have some fun. This holiday is for everyone in America. This holiday is
Canada Day is July 1st also, so...
Canada, July 1st?
Mm-hmm.
Canada Day. Oh, yay, Canada Day. Put a great big maple leaf at the top of your swag. But thank you guys for joining me for the craziness that this was. And if you are a member who is a citizen, please come and join us for the after party. I always forget the names. I gave it a very simple name, Citizen. So if you're a citizen and you're a paying member, please come join us for the after party if you think you might want to watch me get a little more drunk, or ask me questions, or want more particulars about how I did things, or what I didn't do, and what I thought about doing when I didn't do, or you just want to chat and tell me what's going on in your life. Thanks for joining, everybody. See you next month. Bye.